Animal traffic, Alpha Mike November, rolling 03 and vacating to Lima 266. Smoothly through to full power, T's in the green, airspeed increasing. Gentle back pressure.
Traffic to the runway out to Zoni Darwin, welcome full stop.
Clearance VAGL, retract flaps, caution the sink.
Charlie Bravo complete in Lewis, tracking waterworks.
India, Charlie Bravo, Unicom, copy that.
More traffic, X-ray Alpha Tango's waterworks, 1500, tracking to join downwind 03.
More Unicom, Alpha Mike November.
Alpha Mike November,
Any reported traffic in Lima 266?
no reported traffic, Lima 266.
Copy, no reported traffic, Alpha Mike November. Cool. More traffic, Alpha Mike November entering Lima 266, next 25 minutes.
Was that Alpha Mike November?
Affirm.
Copy 25.
Cool.
Just in the future, if you say Ardmore Unicom rather than Ardmore Traffic.
Unicom, good afternoon.
Oh, right, gotcha.
Because that immediately gets their
Hotel
attention.
November Charlie, Unicom, reading 5.
5, copy, thanks.
Alright, 2-5, so stay in until...
More traffic, X-ray Alpha Tango's downwind 03.
5-2. Okay, so you can set us up at 300 feet just so that we're tracking around the coast here.
Yep.
And we'll just continue to follow the coastline around, and then we'll look at I'll demonstrate a coastal reversal turn.
More traffic into Charlie Bravo, Red Hill, turning finals for Ardmore helicopters remaining clear at 03.
Okay, if you like, I'll go control. Fueling. Thank you, get the car beat. So, we're tracking along the coast. I'm just going to bring us in a little bit here.
Yep, sure.
And we've got crap weather out over there. And the hills, the clouds on the top of the hills over here, so we're not going to be able to go out over that way. So we need to turn around, so we're going back this way.
Yep.
So I'm just going to continue to follow around the coast.
Pull up.
And then once we've turned around, what we want to do is we want to maintain or we want to select a 45-degree reference point. So the edge of Pakahi Island out there is actually probably pretty good.
Yep.
So I'm going to turn out and head towards that. My reciprocal heading's 210. about 45 degrees, so once we're pointing out at 45-degree angle,
yep.
Just keep checking back to monitor how you're doing relative to the coast.
Yep.
Now, we've got the wind from this side. It's probably going to be behind us as we turn round. This is actually looking alright now though, so roll into a steep turn initially.
Yep.
Bit more power and 45 degrees. Once I'm certain I can make it round in the distance available, I can start reducing the angle of bank. So this is actually looking alright already, so I can start reducing that angle of bank.
Terrain, pull up, pull up. Pull up.
And 210 was my original heading, so I'll just keep us coming around a little bit until we're on 210 again.
Pull up.
There we go, so it's fairly straightforward, isn't it?
Oscar, Roman November, down wind 03 grade.
You have control?
I have control.
Now you can just follow us if you like along the edge of the tide line here.
Yep.
And then we'll look at doing one basically just going along this way. You can see that the drift illusion here, where it looks like we're out of balance. We're not, it's just the wind blowing us this way. Alright, so similar sort of scenario, we've got bad weather out on our right and ahead, but it's clear behind us, clear out on the left, so we can turn around. So when you're ready, select a 45-degree reference point. We can actually probably just about use the same one as before.
Yep, I'll just use the edge of the peninsula there.
Yep.
And 300 being my turn around.
Good.
Quick lookout and then turn.
Good. That's looking good. And then just keep assessing how you're looking relative to the terrain, and then when you think you've probably got about the right amount of distance.
Yeah. So we want to turn towards the coast, right?
Correct, yeah. So I'd say we've probably got about enough space now. So roll into a steep turn to the right. Remember you need a bit more power as you do that to maintain your speed. Good.
Traffic Hotel.
And then when you're certain that you're going to get round okay, start easing the power off and easing the angle of bank off. So in this case it looks like because we've got the wind right behind us at the moment, we're actually having to maintain, we're having to maintain a relatively steep angle of bank, but now we can start easing it off.
Terrain ahead, pull up.
Good. Now we'll do the same, but we'll go back the other way. So this time we'll be turning out to the right and then back round to the left.
Ardmore traffic, X-ray Alpha Tango's downwind 03.
Okay, so I've got roughly 170 as my reciprocal heading. Was here. I'm going to use a point out towards there. That bay there I'll use.
Okay. Yeah, so of course this is a more realistic scenario than the briefing, in that the coastline is actually kind of curving and it's got, you know, undulations in it and that sort of thing.
Yep, so a quick lookout and I'll turn. This was my reference point. Keep on checking back.
Yep.
Ardmore traffic Hotel, November Charlie's vacating via Brookby.
Okay, and now look out on steep turn to the left.
Yep. See, this time we can probably be reducing the angle of bank a little sooner.
Yeah.
Ahead, pull up.
So you can see how it's just a case of basically reacting to or predicting what the wind drift is going to do to you.
Yeah.
In some cases, to some extent, it's reacting to it in the sense that when you start that steep turn, if you then see that you're going to need to maintain a steep turn the whole way around, that may be what you need to do, whereas other times, like just now, for example, we only really needed a steep turn for the first half.
Correct.
Cool. So just keep monitoring your speed, try and keep us at 65, and that's basically it for coastal reversal turns. So we'll look at a constant radius turn next. So you can see there's a pole just to the left. Now the trick here is not to get the different poles mixed up, because there's a whole line of them, but I normally pick in fact there's another one over there, I normally pick the furthest out to sea, because then it's a little easier not to get it mixed up with others. I think it's that one down there, I think. Okay. Can't see any more further out from there.
I can see two.
Oh, can you? Oh, I'm talking about
two that are nearby.
This one down here.
Oh, yep.
If you like, I'll take control again.
You have control.
And I'm just going to demonstrate one. So at the moment we have the wind coming from more or less from our left.
Yep.
We can even see that in this because we've got the little wind indicator on the GPS.
Yep.
So once we beam this point in the water, that's a little bit tricky for me going around to the left because I've got to...
Yep.
I'm going to put it on a position on the wingtip, and I would say this spacing's about right. It'll look a bit different to you than what it does to me, but I would say this is about right.
Yep.
So I'm going to start my turn around to the left now. And this is going to be reasonably shallow, because at the moment we're heading pretty much directly into wind. So to keep that pole in the same position, I'm keeping it relatively shallow. When I notice that it's starting to move back along the wing a little, I can come in a bit. And I'm just continually judging reference outside, instruments, and then back to the pole. So now you can see it's moving forward along the wing, so I'm just reducing that angle for a little bit.
Yep.
And now we've pretty much got a direct headwind. And now we'll start coming around again because it's starting to move back. So although it's a constant radius turn, as you can see, it's certainly not a constant angle of bank turn. And many times you'll actually find that in a strong wind you may actually have to go wings level for a while.
Yeah.
So now just making another little adjustment to the angle of bank, just trying to keep that pole in the same position. Keeping a reference outside and checking the instruments periodically, because of course we don't want to be descending while we're doing this. Now we're going to start getting a tailwind, so you'll notice here I'm going to need a slightly steeper angle of bank. However, it's still, once again, just a case of judging our position. We don't want to get too close to it. Yep. Now you can see it's moving right back, so I need to steepen up this angle of bank a bit more. This is a lot trickier in a high wing aircraft than a low wing, because you can't see as well.
You can lose it under the wing.
The other thing as well though is you don't want to get too close, so I feel like there I was getting a little bit close, so I've just let it go back behind the wing for a moment just to get a bit more space, and there it is again, and that looks like it's now pretty much back where we started, so I'm going to steepen up a little.
Yep.
And there it is again, and now it's quite a bit in front of the wing, so once again I'm pretty much just back to wings level here. Alright, so you have control.
Okay, I have control.
We've moved out a little bit further actually than when we started, so if you like, just see if you can maintain this spacing. So here we'll be needing a reasonably shallow angle of bank.
Yeah.
With the headwind, and you're just keeping that pole eyeballing the distance from it and trying to keep it the same. So its exact position along the wing will vary, but the distance out from you should remain reasonably constant the whole way around.
Yeah.
Admiral traffic, X-RAF, Tango's downwind.
The biggest thing is just to keep that scan going between outside ahead, outside at the object, and inside at the instruments.
Yeah.
This is looking good so far. So this is where, at the moment, we've still got a headwind, but as we start to come round towards this peninsula, that headwind is going to start to become more of a tailwind.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
This is looking good. And you can see it's possibly moved a little closer, so we can just reduce the angle of bank a little as we come round here, just to help it move back to that original position.
Yeah.
Just watching the speed. Looking good. Cool, that looks good, and we'll go around it once more. Personally, I find this quite tricky. I find this is one of the trickiest PPL manoeuvres, especially when it's very windy.
Especially when your object is quite small.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. It is a bit easier when it's When it's you know, like a big,
like a tree,
a building or a tree or something,
yeah.
Yeah, well really a boat would be ideal if it wasn't moving,
yeah.
but I don't really like going around boats at that low level because they're not necessarily aware that this is actually a low flying area, so they might wonder what the hell's going on.
Yeah. And the only one around here is that, and he's quite close to the tree.
Yeah, and that beach is not part of the...
Tango for Juliet, simulating call climbing.
Not actually part of the low flying area. The border cuts from one peninsula to the other, so you can't actually go into that bay. This is still looking all good. Just watch the height, we just climbed a little bit there.
Climbed a little bit.
I was guilty of climbing a bit as well, but as long as you can keep it managed. As I said, it's a lot easier in a low wing aeroplane because you can just sit it on the wingtip and just go around it. It's a lot harder in a high wing because, especially when you've got a wing strut as well, because you keep losing sight of it.
Yeah.
But this looks pretty good. I think we've maintained a pretty constant radius from this time. Okay, I'm happy with that.
Awesome.
So if you like, we can climb back out, and once we're at a reasonable altitude, you can call Unicom and let them know that we're clear, and we'll vacate back to Ardmore.
Awesome. Continue this turn around.
Yep. And as per probably what you got briefed on last time, you want to maintain like a climbing turn as we head out of the low flying area so that we're not climbing at low level out over the land.
Yeah. A constant race. Flaps up.
We're trying to Tango for Juliet, climb across with 03, vacating train area.
Ardmore traffic, Alpha Mike November, clear of Lima 266. Correction, Ardmore Unicom, Alpha Mike November, clear of Lima 266.
Alpha Mike November, Unicom, copy, thanks.